Do you know that the game this is based on is the first game I gave 10 on Board Game Geek?
Really?
Yeah.
Let's see if this one holds up. This is the review for the board game Unfathomable, the good and bad about it.
By the end of this video, you will know if this game is for you.
We have 6 burning questions that we will answer, but before we do that, Giannis, what is this game Unfathomable all about?
We are passengers on a ship trying to make our way all the way to Boston? Boston. And as usually it happened in 1913, the ship is infested by monsters. Tough times, those. So you have to work together to make it to the end, fighting the monsters, and if that wasn't hard enough, one of you is a hybrid and a cultist.
You seem sketchy.
No, I don't. I'm not sketchy. I'm neither of those.
So there are 3 roles in this game. You can be a human. Humans just need to go to Boston and survive. Then there is a hybrid. He wants to sink the ship and help the deep ones, these scary monsters right here. Well, this one is scarier than this one, to be honest.
I think this one's scary.
This one's scarier?
Because he's spitting out those other guys. I mean, where does he keep them?
The last role is a cultist. And cultist's role is to also sink the ship. But he needs to do it at the last leg of the trip. Just at the end when people think there is hope and we will finish and everything is great. Then the cultist comes.
As normally ships did work in 1913, you have this tracker that tracks how far you've gone. And once you get to the arrive space, you have reached your waypoint. And then the captain, one of you is going to be the captain, is going to pick 2 cards and pick how far you went along the way. To win, you have to reach total distance 12 or more. So obviously bigger numbers are better. But why did he choose a lower number? Is he a hybrid?
Maybe he's a hybrid, or maybe there wasn't a higher number, or maybe the other one had consequences for our ship that will be really bad. So he made a good decision, just travel less distance.
And what Giannis is trying to say, he's a hybrid. A loss condition, one of the loss conditions, is if we run out of one of the 4 resources, which are the sanity, souls, food, and fuel.
If all rooms inside the ship have damage, you lose the game. And there is another.
Of course, you think that's all? No. There's another way you can lose. And that one is if too many of these guys are on the board. If you need to put out these guys out on the board and you don't have any more in the supply, you lose.
All that sounds really, really bad, but don't worry, there are some things you can do about it. First of all, you receive skill cards that can help you on voting and doing different actions.
Your character sheet tells you which ones you draw and how many. It's always 5, just the division is different. Once you've drawn your 5 skill cards, then you move on to your actions.
You can do a bunch of actions. Well, actually, you can do 2 actions. Yeah. But you have a bunch of options of what you can do. Mostly you will move. You will also attack a deep one. If these monsters are on your space, you can attack them. You can also rescue a passenger. There will be these passenger tokens on the ship. You can tell them politely to come in where it's a bit safer. Also, there are other actions on cards or character sheets that you can do on this turn, as well as each space on the ship, interior space on the ship, has some specific action that will help you on your journey. And the last action you can do is you can reveal yourself as a traitor.
So, do you see these 2 guys?
I see them, yes.
They're doing the secret handshake now. Do you want me to show you the secret handshake? So how this, you raise one arm up, the other one, and then you go, hey! And now you move on to the meat of the game and the meat of your turn, which is the mythos phase. Remember I mentioned those skill cards you get at the beginning of your turn? This is where you can use them. Like you mentioned, you can use them for actions and special abilities, but this is the most important part where you can use them. So, a skill check means this is the number we need to get by playing these cards secretly into a skill check deck. So starting from the player to my left, everyone will add as many skill cards as they want. Remember I said you need these 2 types of cards to score 13 or more. All the other cards count as negative for this skill check.
You take 2 cards from the Chaos deck and add them secretly to the deck. So you will never know which cards come from the Chaos deck and which cards have players played.
And then we'll just shuffle them up, reveal, and see the result. Failing, and depending sometimes on the level of failure, bad things will happen. But there are 2 small, very important icons at the bottom of the Mythos card. The first one activates the monsters. But then this one last icon there, which is like the little star of hope, is the one that moves this track forward. And remember when I mentioned that once this gets to the arrive place, you get to draw the destination cards? That's how you move the game along, and that's how you get to your destination, by drawing these cards and hoping there is this icon. Because sometimes there'll be a different icon.
Yeah, there might be a spell icon, which is not bad, but it's also not good all the time as well.
Yeah.
It's very situational, which is the almost last thing that we need to explain, so hold in there. You can cast spells from the chapel as well as these cards will move along the spell track, and whenever it is at the end, a spell will be cast. A huge explosion which affects everything that's outside of the inner cabins.
So on the deck and in the sea, everything gets destroyed. You don't know who your friends are, everything's tough, and you need to get to the end, one way or the other. Who can you really trust?
No one. We're gonna talk a lot more about this game in this video, so we need to jump to the first question, and the first question is...
Who would you buy it for?
1, 2, 3.
As I mentioned in the intro, fans of Battlestar Galactica. Well, here's a disclaimer. I haven't played Battlestar Galactica for 5+ years. But I did give it a 10, and I have fond memories of it. But my dad always said, never go back to the place where you were happy. So I probably will not play that game again. I did enjoy Battlestar Galactica a lot, and I did enjoy this. But how much did I enjoy it? We'll see at the end. Also, I think if you're a hidden trader fan, and you have time on your hands, which means this game's a bit on the longer side, you'd enjoy this as well.
First of all, this game is quite chaotic, meaning that at one turn it might look like it's the easiest game you have ever played, it's all good. Next 2 turns, you lose the game. Well, the trader wins, because he killed all the passengers, and it can get so swingy from time to time that it sometimes feels more of an experience than like a strategy game. As you mentioned, you have to enjoy traitor games. You have to be okay with stabbing your friends in the back. You have to be capable of lying. Although this game quite helps you as being a trader.
Yeah.
It tells you that you can discuss any numbers, show your cards, which helps the trader a lot. This game might make you feel nervous when you are the trader, and if you don't like that, don't buy this game.
What is the best thing about this game?
3, 2, 1. Boom. Minis and board is the first thing I love about this game. These dials are great. They feel good, they look good, it's awesome. And the minis, I really love the quality of these minis.
At first when I got this, I thought that's not that of an expensive in a game for this box and stuff inside. I know why that is now, because there's almost no artwork on any of the cards. But it fits perfectly, the theme, the feel of the game. When I first heard that this was coming out and this is not going to be Battlestar Galactica anymore, how can they change from this huge mothership to like a steamship? But it does make sense.
The story and the theme complement the mechanics, and that's great for this game. When you fight one deep one, you just roll a die, and if you get 4 or more, it's done. He's gone. That's it. And not just fighting, but a lot of other things are simple in this game, which I enjoyed.
If we're talking about the simplicity of rules, the game is actually quite straightforward. You draw cards, you do 2 actions, you draw a Mythos card. Next turn. There are some minor things that somebody has to read before he plays, so he knows. All of them are on those sheets that you have just brought up. Yeah. All the information is there. Actually, you can read that and you know how to play. I'm gonna just do a little comparison with Battlestar Galactica. Quality of life improvements over that game. The first being that these play rates that we just discussed are amazing. Previous game, Battlestar Galactica, your trader special ability when you reveal was on your card. Obviously, you don't want to go looking at your card during the game because everyone will go, whoa, what are you doing? All the abilities on the board are also on a play rate. So you don't have to suspiciously look at the chapel and read what it does and like, why are you reading chapel? We have only 1 sanity. These 2 small things are really good and improve and help any role, but especially the traders. These characters here feel even more different than in the previous game. They have their special ability, they have their special trader ability, they have their unique feat, and then they also have an item that they start with that is also kind of unique to them. I mean, that's another improvement I feel is better over Battlestar Galactica. Uncertainty. If you're not into trader games and you don't like being the trader, it's going to be stressful and not enjoyable for you, but I love that uncertainty.
Yeah, I have it too. I named it suspense, but the idea is the same. I think very specific thing about this game is that the main aim for the trader, you don't have to sabotage all the votes, you don't have to sabotage everything you see. You just have to time it right and do little things, and because of that, you will never really know who's the traitor.
Yeah.
You can have your suspicions, but you can be 100% sure almost never. One thing we didn't mention at the beginning, you have these role cards and you give one to each player at the start of the game. And then later on, you give the other set of these cards. So at first, nobody could be a traitor, right? Everybody could have gotten the human cards. And the second time, you will for sure have all the traitor cards in this game.
You might have been the human, but now you could be the traitor. And also, one thing that I love in this game is if you reveal it as a traitor, you give your other loyalty card to somebody else. Who's who?
Oh, hey, dog.
Hi.
So, should they subscribe?
Yes. Why does he have the geeky voice?
I don't know.
Please subscribe and like. Thank you. Cringy is the name of this short sketch. What is the worst thing about this game?
2, 1, boom.
Okay. My first thing is the length of the game. I'd say pretty much so to average 3 hours to play. Less than 3 hours if you're very unlucky as a human, and longer than 3 hours if the game is equally balanced. And that I feel is somehow a bit of a letdown for me, because Battlestar Galactica was just as long. If they could have gotten this down to 2 hours, it would have been great. But I don't think it's possible. If you do discuss Mythos cards, and discuss you should, it's not gonna be less than 3 hours, I think.
And let's start with the swinginess. For example, we had 6 sanity and we lost it in 1 turn.
How did you lose 6 sanity?
The card said that if we don't vote enough, which we couldn't get at that point, then all the passengers go outside, and then the explosion happened the next turn.
So souls, you lost souls.
Souls, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
We had 6 souls and it all went down the crapper right away.
Yeah, my next thing is the downtime. And I mark it down as a question mark, because not for everybody. Because this game is all about discussion and joining in the discussion. Every Mythos card, everyone can get involved, but not everybody might be into that thing. It might feel like you're just waiting 15 minutes for your turn to come around and just do it quickly and move on. So if you're not involved that, you're gonna have a lot of downtime.
I would argue that almost in any group there will be people left out. And it goes to my second point, which is the biggest bad thing for this game for me, is your insignificance. You will have those only 2 actions in which you a lot of times will just go outside and save a passenger, for example. And that's all that you do. And then you have to wait for 4 players to do their turns.
I wonder if you would have saved 1 passenger that time when you had like 6 out, or how many, probably would have made a difference. It can feel that, but that's why I emphasize discussing these cards, because these are actually the most important part in the game. Everything else is just like dealing with the consequence.
Yeah, but that sometimes you won't have the cards to actually vote there. Sure. And then again, you're just sitting there and all right, it doesn't matter. I almost always will discuss these things and get into this, but I felt like even I'm zooming out a lot of times.
And there are people who, yes, always will discuss. Even if they don't have the cards to that, they'll go like, I think we should try to pass this. And then how much can you add? Nothing. But I think we should pass this. And then there will be people who will be just like, I have a little bit of those cards, yeah. But then there will be people who are fine with just listening to everybody else talk, and then when it's their turn, they're like, I'll add some. They're going to be fine. So I guess it really depends on the players and the group. How long is the honeymoon?
3, 2, 1. I have some bad news, honey.
Well, go ahead, honey.
Thing is that this game is most enjoyable with 5. 4 is also really good, but less than that.
No, definitely not 3 players. No, don't do it. Stop. We were gonna play with 3. Stop it.
There is the traitor mechanism that you need to get people to enjoy. At least for me, I'm not gonna get 5 people that's gonna enjoy this very often, and from time to time, maybe you will get it out.
I agree. I'm not gonna play it more than like 3 or 4 times a year.
Doubts that you will get there. Doubt that you will even get there.
I will.
No, you won't.
Challenge accepted.
All right.
Traitor. See, you're a traitor from the get-go. The biggest reason for me why I won't get it to the table more often is the length of it. You will know after the first date. You're gonna play this the first time, and you will know if this is something you want to keep in your collection. And even though it's gonna be just a couple of times a year, come back to it from time to time. What's the best alternative?
3, 2, 1.
Achievement unlocked. I'm gonna call this Nemesis Family Variant. It's quicker to set up, it has less rules, and it's easier to teach. That's what I think. That's my opinion. You can't take it away from me. Plus, it has no player elimination here. But there's bad things happening constantly. You don't really know who you can trust and cooperate with, and you're just trying to get to the end. But it gives me the same feeling that game does.
Where it comes down to is, I think, the traitor mechanism and how you would like it in your game. If you would like two teams, there for sure is a traitor that's gonna do bad things. It's gonna be tough and he's gonna mess everything up and somebody's gonna be very nervous all the game. If you enjoy that part, then this game, Unfathomable I'm meaning, would be better for you. But for me, Nemesis will always win because it gives you a choice. You get two cards with two objectives. That one is pretty evil. One could say that I need to kill Giannis to win this game. And the other one, tough to do, but something, a good guy would do. You can choose one of them in the middle of the game. A lot more will find that more satisfying and better experience than this one. But it comes down to, what do you like?
Final rating.
3, 2, 1.
Okay, wow, you actually surprised me there. I thought it's gonna be it's gonna be okay. I thought it's gonna be okay for you.
We discussed what each of the categories means, and okay usually is a game that leaves you, it's okay, it's Smash. And for sure, this game doesn't leave me without emotions. I would like to play it again. I probably won't be the one who's putting it on the table, asking for you to play it. There is a lot of good things, as we talked before, a lot of things I enjoy, but that insignificance in your game that I can't get over. It's very, very important for me to feel like I'm playing this, I'm doing this. And yes, after a few games, it will probably improve, but getting 5 people to play it so many times that it will improve is just not an option for me, especially right now. I enjoy it, but not as much as to say it's a really good game. It's a good game.
I guess this game for me is in the same category as Nemesis. Is like Nemesis was must-have for me, and this is fantastic for me. The games I've experienced with the people that I've experienced have been fantastic. Getting 5 people for 3 hours, and then knowing that half of them probably not gonna enjoy it as much. I'm gonna lose them forever for this game. It's tough, but if it would be like 2 hours, it'd be easier. But it is what it is. 90 to let's say 150 minutes. Like that gap, this game would have been must-have for me. And for me, this is gonna stay in my collection. Yes, I'm not gonna play a lot of it, but I feel that it's a fantastic game that I enjoy, and if I get the right group, I will enjoy it every time.
I hope you know if this game is for you. And now it's just one thing left for you to do, and that is
like, subscribe, and reveal him as a traitor.
I'm not a traitor.
Of course you're not.
You got nothing.
Well, anyway, comment if you think Giannis is a traitor. Anyway, thanks for watching.
Yeah. See you next time.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.